Good afternoon, everyone. I am Bernamisi Ubaob, and my topic is about proper storage of glazes and sauces. For centuries, the original Filipino taste is influenced with other cultures. First was the above mentioned Arabians, then there were the Spanish, the Americans, the Japanese, and of course the Chinese. Chinese people have a great contribution in molding the history of the true Pinoy food. One is their sauces and spices. Refrigerator. Sauces that should be put in the refrigerator are the black bean sauce or the tosi, chili paste, chili sauce, hoisin sauce, plum sauce, oyster sauce, and the sweet and sour sauce. Packed or canned tomato sauce should also be refrigerated or consumed once opened because it can only last for 5 short days. The other hand, putting soy sauce in the ref helps it to maintain its original taste longer. It is how to freeze sauce. If you're planning to make homemade sauces with their classic marinara, barbecue, or more, it's easy and economical to scale up the yield. Luckily, it's also very easy to freeze sauces. Most sauces freeze well, including tomato-based sauces, meat sauces, and even creamy Alfredo and bechamel sauces. Freezing is one of the easiest methods of preserving freshly made sauces in your kitchen. Before you fill your freezer with Sunday gravy, figure out details like how long your sauce will last, how to prevent freezer burn, and the best method for thawing. Whether you are meal preparing for just looking to preserve leftover sauces, follow these tips for safe and successful sauce freezing. Best practices for storing and freezing. The first step once you've made your sauce is to safely cool it down. If you'd prepared a sauce that's already at room temperature, you can jump right into storage, but a hot or warm sauce should never go directly into the freezer because you run the risk of raising the overall temperature of your freezer. Food safety rules suggest that when cooling down food, the internal temperature should be between 120 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit within the first 2 hours of cooling. Then, 70 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit within the first 4 hours of cooling. To do this, you can simply leave your sauce out at room temperature for up to 2 hours, then refrigerate until it cools. The next step is to choose the appropriate type and size of container. Do not store sauces or any food products in glass, as they could shatter if the food inside expands as it freezes. Instead, use Tupperware, plastic containers, or freezer bags. Rather than freeze in giant batches, consider how you plan to use them upon thawing and portioning your sauces accordingly. Spoon sauce into an ice cube tray or snack size freezer bags if you plan to use small amounts. This will not only save space in your freezer and minimize waste. It will make reheating individual portions much easier. To prevent freezer burn, simply squeeze out as much excess air as possible or use a small enough container that there's minimal room for air to circulate. How long will sauce last in the freezer? Homemade sauces will typically stay fresh in your refrigerator 3 to 4 days. Once frozen, you can safely store the same sauces for 6 months, sometimes longer. It's important to keep in mind that once you pass the 6-month mark, your sauces are likely still safe to eat, but the flavors will have diminished and you run a greater chance of freezer burn. How to defrost sauces. The best method for thawing sauces is to slowly defrost your sauces in the refrigerator. It takes time but will ensure that your food stays at a safe temperature. A faster method is to put the container of sauce in a large bowl in your sink. Run cold water over the container until thawed. Note: do not use hot water for this method, which can raising the food to an unsafe temperature. And that's all for my report. Thank you for listening, guys.